So today I want to change the valve stem seals on the XS650. The reason I want to change them is when I start out the bike, I've been getting blue oil smoke out my exhaust. So that's telling me it's leaking either at the rings or at the seals. But I have good compression and it's equal, so I'm pretty confident that it is the seals. Typically you would take the engine out of the frame, take the top end off and do the seals. But I read about this way of doing it that you don't have to do that. You just make a little tool out of a 1/2 inch conduit coupling and a 8mm fine thread bolt, and you compress the valve springs, and then you get in there and you change the valve seals. I'm not going to go into detail on how to make this because I'm going to put links. I didn't invent this. I found this on the web. And there's a very good, very full description of this, but there's no pictures. I'm a very visual person, so I was hoping I would find a video and I didn't. So I'm going to do the video, but it's for use in conjunction with the instructions that are going to be posted in the description. I'm going to put a GoPro on. I've done 3 of the 4. This is my last one. So to start, I have on the opposite side, using the alternator, the rotor nut, I have put top dead center. I put my piston top dead center, and so that both of my valve arms here are a little loose. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the tappet out. So I'm going to take a 12mm wrench. So, tappet's out, put that there, and then we're going to shoehorn our little device. Now, okay, so the instructions I was using don't have this wider washer on, welded on, but I wanted a little bit bigger footprint, so I did that. But what I didn't factor in, because I figured this out later, the whole tool's a little, a couple millimeters higher than it should be, and the instructions that I'm going to post for you, the dimensions are pretty tight, and I think it's pretty good. I think it's what it should be. My other problem is it's a 8mm 40, fine thread, 40mm long, but I had one and it galled up, so I could only find a 35mm, and so that's what I'm going to use. It's actually a little crappy. The whole situation is a little crappy with this being too high and this being too short, but it works, and I'm just going to do it. All right, so first we got to shoehorn this under. It sometimes takes a little bit of time. There we go. And I will take my washer and bolt and thread that in there by hand. And it's important to make sure that this is pretty much flush with the tool, the washer and the tool, because you're going to be pulling stuff in and out. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to crank this down, and we're going to take the collets out, or the collets out, and then we're going to take it back out. We're going to take the washer out. We're going to compress it back down, take the seal out, put the new seal in. Then take it out, put the washer back in, put it in, put the collets in, and then we're done. So that is how this will work. First thing I'm going to do, now typically, so you want this bolt tightened down all the way through here, just so it's touching the outside. Because this bolt's short, you kind of have to fudge it a bit, but and you can already see, here's the collets, talking like I'm French, and that's what we're going to pull out first. I'm also going to get in here. Push that. I'm pushing the valve up with this screwdriver. I'm going to leave this screwdriver in here because I also don't want to drop a valve into the cylinder. That would be a big pain in the butt, so we're not going to do that. All right, let's see. I've really enjoyed using this little magnet guy to get in here. This gets these collets out really well. All right, one collet out. Put that there.
And I'm doing something weird.
All right, so collets are out. Now we are going to pull this thing out. Remove the tool. Grab our tool. And get that out of there. Now, I'm going to take this spring out. I'm sorry, the washer out. Now, it can get caught up. It goes in and there's a lip. So it can get caught on the valve rod in here. Or the valve shaft. So I'm going to go over to the other side and move the piston down a little bit. Hopefully catch it with the screwdriver so it doesn't go in. And that's plenty far enough. Now, when you get in here, you want to get under both valve springs because, of course, there's two. There's an inner and outer. So you got to get into underneath both of them. And then it comes out fairly easily. Boom. So there we go. That's the retaining spring. Now we're going to put our tool back in and go back in there and get the seal. Make sure that's pretty even. Now, got to get the valve stem, or valve shaft, I got to get that down far enough that it's past the seal. And this is where it gets a little tricky because you really, really don't want to drop a valve into this. So I'm going to drop that piston a little, I'm going to drop the piston a little more. All right, so what I've done on this side, I've actually taken the screwdriver out because for the intake valves, I really couldn't get the valve stem to go down far enough with that in. But that's so the valve is resting on the piston. That's fine. And what was I doing? Oh yeah. I'm going to crank this down some more, I think. All right. So you can see in there, there is our valve seal that we want to get out. All right, so my goal is to get the little spring off first, because I don't want that falling in. Although this whole thing's coming off.
These seals are actually pretty easy to get off. Oh, there we go. There's our little spring. But we want to be gentle because we don't want to get any rubber in there. Look at that. So maybe it's time for some pliers. And there we go. So there's the old one. Now I'm take my new one. I'm going to put a little dab of grease. On both sealing surfaces. I'm going to drop this sucker in here. Now, I've got to be very careful to tamp this thing down properly. I've been using a screwdriver. Just want to make sure you don't hurt the rubber part or pop that spring off. Since I don't have any extras, that is going to screw me up if I mess up. I'm also obviously using my finger to get it situated. Alright, so now I'm going to raise the valve stem up. We'll do it this way. And I just want to make sure that the seal doesn't pop off or anything. Alright, that looks good. So now we're going to take the tool out and we're going to put that retaining washer back on. You know what I forgot? Forgot the whole time. So this is like 3/16 inch rope. There's a little oil hole in here. I really should kind of close off by using this piece of rope in there. So now that we're halfway done, I'll do that. I'm going to back off the tool. Pull our tool back out. And we are going to put our washer back in. He's going pretty easily. Boom. All right, so new seal is on, washer is back in. Now we got to put the collets back in. So on goes the tool for the final time. Make sure that this is lined up straight as I can. that is going to affect how easy it is to get collets in. Now, when you put the collets back in, you want to be able to control this. You want to be able to push this up and down. So I'm going to leave my screwdriver in there. There's definitely a learning curve on this. Like, definitely put aside an entire afternoon. It's like I said, this is possibly a bigger pain in the butt than it should be, or should have to be, but it is what it is. All right, so I'm gonna grab my collet. See if I can slip it in here. Now you'll see, if you can see it, there's a groove on the valve that's going to match up with the groove in the collet. Now I can see my spring's a little wonky. That's going to make it a little more difficult to get the second one in. The first one's going to go in like cake because it's got plenty. Ooh, geez, that's going down too far. I have it so the piston is up far enough that this will not drop, but still. So this takes a little finagling, you know. All right, there we go. So now, I've got the collets on. I'm just going to seat them by pushing them down a bit. There we go. All right. All right, now I'm going to back the tool out and we are done. All right, now we fish the tool out. And there we go. And we just take our tappet, put that back in, and then I'm going to go over, I won't do it on the video, but I'll go make sure that I'll go put it at exact top dead center again, and I will set these valves. And that's it. All right. Thanks.